Hi guys, welcome back to the Vanity Diary. I'm Abby Meador, your host, the person of Vanity Avenue Cosmetics, and here with me today, like last time, is my best friend and the Vanity staff / our special guest, Hailey Rideout. You can say hi.
Hi guys.
But so today we are going to be getting into a second episode for you, and this is wild because we have not filmed a podcast and sat down to do it since January. It's March now, late March. So been a while. Hope you've been good. But so yeah, if you don't remember, what we do on this podcast is we go over skincare, makeup, all that stuff. I like to kind of give my insight as a consumer as well as someone actually in the industry, as much as you can count that for what I do and what I am. So that's what we do on here. Hailey is Hailey's here, so I'm not talking to myself. And because she's a lovely audience, so that'll be great. But so today, well, let's back it up a little bit. Last time, what we talked about with you guys was kind of fact versus fiction. And we went on kind of about the burn book and things that, you could do without in your skincare routine and everything like that and all that good stuff. And so today, we're going to be doing something similar to that, but also a little bit different, kind of a continuation, but we're kind of format it differently and do it a little bit kind of like a game-ish. And so what we're going to be doing today is I'm going to give Hailey a, play along if you're listening. I'm going to give Hailey a skincare thing or a trend or something you can do to your skin. And she's going to say, is that something you should do or something you shouldn't? Is that essential or is it non-essential? And then, you get a point if you can guess it right. And then we'll go into, after each round, go into explaining why that answer is what it is and all that good stuff. And then at the end, because this is all gonna not surround, but you know what I mean, it's all gonna center around the idea of what is essential for your routine. And I say that broadly because everyone is different, everything works differently on different skin, but basically, generally, it's going to center around that idea of what's essential to an extent in a skincare routine. And then at the end, we will actually go over the order of which you should apply products in your skincare routine. Really? And that's going to kind of be our wrap up to talk about all of this stuff that, you should or shouldn't do. So that will be fun. First off though, I do want to give a disclaimer. I have to do this every episode. Get used to it. I am not a skincare professional. I've not been to beauty school. I'm a child, and this is just, a lot of this comes from my personal experience, but the bulk of it comes from research and me, this is all going to be backed up by, things that I've looked up and sources that I've read and doctors and all that good stuff. And I will make sure to link all those sources below. So if you're interested, you can read up more on the topics and kind of get a gist of what I'm talking about. But so, yeah, I don't know everything at all. That's first disclaimer. Second disclaimer with that as well is that, everybody's skin is different. And so just because something works for my skin doesn't mean it's going to work for yours, doesn't mean it'll work for your friends. It depends on you, and a lot of skincare and figuring out what works for you is trial and error, unfortunately, and research and figuring things out. So this is as unbiasedly, I think I said that weird,
it's okay.
But as unbiased as possible. I'm trying to be as unbiased as possible, and kind of just give an overview, which can act kind of as a starting place for you. So, you know, I'm not gonna, with this particular podcast, I'm not going to give any product names. We will go, actually, our next podcast will feature a certain brand and products. But for the bulk of this, we are not going to talk about any products. This is just kind of a general overview and all that good stuff. So, those are the two things you need to know. I'm not a professional, and your skin is unique, and, you know, it's going to react how it does to certain things different from other people's. So, that's the whole thing. My main goal with this podcast is just, you know, is to get the message across of how important it is to be an informed consumer. And, you know, that goes to every aspect of life, every aspect of buying things and being a person who is being marketed to constantly, as we all are right now with social media and just modern day and everything. So be informed, learn about your skin. That's what I'm getting across. So, yeah, those are my disclaimers. That was a pretty short introduction compared to last time.
Really?
Yeah, so that's nice. But anyway, let's hop right on into this. And we're going to talk about it, go over it. I'm going to give you just an example one first.
Okay.
That I'm not going to go too deeply into, which I'll explain a little bit in a second. Why not? But so basically, how this will work is I will say, okay, exfoliants, like, you know, exfoliating your skin, that process, is that essential or non-essential? And you would give your answer.
Okay.
And then I would say, oh, yes
or no, and
yeah.
why. Okay. Cool.
And little plot twist about exfoliators. If you are interested on learning more about exfoliators and, you know, all that good stuff in that world, make sure to check out our last podcast, because we went deep into
we did.
how exfoliants work. So I'm not going to go too deeply into that now. Basically, try to use chemical if you can. Don't use scrubs.
Don't cut your skin.
Exactly. And it's not necessary if you're young. Blah, blah. If I go too deep into it, we'll be here for hours. So, you get it? Kind of, that's how we're going to go.
Yes.
Okay. So, let's begin. I'm really excited to talk about a lot of this stuff. I'm thinking I'm going to save the one that I'm, like, most fired up about for the end.
Sick.
Because it gets me going. Okay. So, let's talk about eye creams.
Ooh, okay.
So, like, a lot of anti-aging things and, like, color corrections, you see a lot of eye creams for. And that's, like, a big thing. Is that essential or non-essential, would you say?
I would say no.
Good job.
Thank you.
Ding, ding, ding. You got a point. Eye creams are definitely not essential to a lot of people.
Yeah.
For the most part, because again, you know, it really depends on you and your skin and all of that stuff.
Your age and stuff.
Yeah. So let's go into a little bit of the history of eye creams and why those were made. Eye creams were developed specifically because moisturizers at the time were too thick for under eyes.
Oh, okay.
And it is true, there's like a common thought that, like, your under eyes are more sensitive to products than the rest of your skin. And that's for most people, that's true, right? But you know, the main reason those were made was because I can't speak today.
It's okay.
But the main reason eye creams were developed was because the formula of a moisturizer was considered too thick.
Okay.
But here's the thing about that, for you to know. Essentially, an eye cream, to be very honest with you, and, you know, everyone listening, an eye cream is a moisturizer.
Yeah.
For the most part. And of course, when you get up into, like, the higher grade brands and, like, you get up into these different levels of products and all that stuff, there are ones that are not just moisturizer, you know, like, there are purposes and such. But for the most part, a lot of the stuff that at least people my age, and that's who this is kind of marketed to, this podcast, you know, it's the same thing.
It's just an extra thing that you don't have to get.
And so it's an extra thing that you could just use moisturizer for the most part. And, you know, along with that, sorry,
Okay.
took a sip of my water. That's the thing too about like, when we talk about moisturizers, people, always get, I'm like totally derailing already.
That's okay.
But, people live for the idea of like a moisturizer that does something for you, right?
Yeah.
Like it's firming.
Yeah.
It's like it's
it
hydrating.
serves like another purpose.
Yeah. And like that's great, you know?
Yeah.
But here's the thing, a good moisturizer for the most part, again, you know, take this however you will, shouldn't do much to your skin.
Yeah.
It's just there. It's kind of, what it does is it creates a thicker layer of, like, protection between the outer air and, like, the world and your epidermis, which is the outer layer of your skin.
Mm-hmm.
So that's really what a moisturizer should do.
Yeah.
And so if you're focusing all your skincare on moisturizers and eye creams that do things, you know, you're not going to get really anywhere because that's not really the point.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's kind of the issue with it. And then you see too with eye creams, they come in tiny packages, and they're really expensive. And so you're essentially just paying for a moisturizer in a smaller component
That's
with
more expensive.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's a scam. It's a pretty big marketing scam.
Yeah.
And again, you know, this is for the most part. There are some eye creams out there that are good.
Uh-huh.
You know, and whatever, and maybe they have good benefits and all that good stuff. But for the most part, that's a non-essential. That's not something you need. You could be focusing your money and your time on much better things for your skin. So,
yeah.
All right, are you ready for the next one?
Yes, I'm ready.
Okay, so I'm trying to think of how to phrase this one. Okay, so serums.
Mm-hmm.
People live for the idea of serums as well.
Yes.
I used to live for serums all the time. It's glamorous. We love that. But is that essential or non-essential?
No.
That one's kind of tricky because it's both.
Okay.
Because it depends kind of on the serum and on the circumstance.
Uh-huh.
So, sorry,
It's okay.
I'm trying to think about how I want to say this. Okay, so a lot of serums out there you see, like, can you think of any serums? You know, not like name brands, but like you see like vitamin C serums.
Yeah.
You see like
It like serves like
pineapple serum, like things like that. Yeah.
Different.
You know, you like flavors and
Yeah.
like anti what are they called? Antioxidants, yeah, right?
Yes.
I'm so dumb. I don't know why I couldn't think of that. I was gonna say antibodies.
Antibodies.
But so, you know, that's kind of
They
like the whole
have their own like little
thing.
that they do. Yeah.
And like that's chill, whatever. But for the most part, look at that dog. Sorry, there was a dog. For the most part, these serums you see, like, you know, pineapple and like vitamin C, those are not going to do anything for you for the most part. However, if you are looking for a serum, or like you can find this certain acid in a lot of products, not just serums, but you know, I just kind of slid it into this category, so it would be whatever.
Yeah.
But basically, one that, you know, I would say is a beneficial one for the most part is hyaluronic acid. Do you know anything about that, Loki?
I mean, kind of, not
It's
really.
For me, I knew nothing about it, so I googled it. But so basically, what this acid is it's kind of fascinating to actually learn about. It essentially is. It's kind of like, you know how your skin produces collagen? Your body produces that, and the collagen is kind of what keeps you looking youthful.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. Hyaluronic acid is also produced by your body.
Okay.
That's something that's naturally produced. However, like collagen and like most, you know, things that your body produces, that production slows down as you get older.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And so, what happens is, you know, when you're putting that extra hyaluronic acid on, it's kind of like a magnet for moisture to pull into your skin. This fact was super interesting to me. 1 gram, just 1 gram of hyaluronic acid holds up to 6 liters of water in it.
Oh my God, really? That's crazy.
It's crazy. It's really powerful. It's a really good hydrator, and it's especially good for like living in dry areas.
Oh, okay.
It is super good, or like if you have dry skin in general, it's something that pulls that moisture to the top. You know, and like kind of helps to rehydrate, kind of make the skin like rethink what it's doing and spread all that moisture and good stuff out again. But the kind of like, here's the thing with hyaluronic acid and most serums for the most part, you could kind of compare them to foundation, where in that foundation doesn't affect the deeper layers of your skin, it only affects the top. That's what all these serums and like hyaluronic acid does, you know. And that's great. Like that can, like hyaluronic acid is something is specifically really beneficial for certain skin types and for certain things like that. I would probably recommend it to people who are a little older, just because, you know, that production slows down. Yeah. But for the most part, it's not doing anything to you. Yeah. Serums in general, just, you know.
It's just another, like, additive.
And there are good ones, like hyaluronic acid. There are. Here, like, but as a person, as a consumer on a budget who's looking to have good skin and not have to pay a lot for it, that can kind of be a waste.
Okay.
You know, like certain things like that. So don't get me wrong. Serums can be good, you know. But if you're buying them, if you're getting a serum for like $6, even like $15, it's probably not worth it.
Yeah.
You know? So, and again, that's just my opinion. That's what I found researching. You know, that's just me. So, that one you can get a 0.5.
Okay.
That was a hard one.
Okay.
So the next one. Oh, we're almost to the one. I don't have a ton to talk about, so that'll be nice. Yeah. Okay. Toner. Toner has been something that has been around forever, right? For a super long time. But I feel like, at least in my experience, I have not seen toner get super popular until like the last year or two.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't know what toner was.
Yeah.
Like, before last year, probably. ASMR. So, what do you think? Do you think toner is essential?
I mean, I would say kind of like serums, in the sense that, like, it could be, but, like, also isn't, like, super helpful. Like, they don't, like, do anything for me personally. Like, with my experience with it, like, I haven't noticed, like, a difference if I use it or not.
For me, I would say definitely not essential. And, like, but, like, again, this is kind of like a game that, like, isn't even really, like, true necessarily. Because, again, you know, some stuff does work for people. It just all depends. But, you know, for me, and with my research and what I've looked into and kind of the science behind a toner, it's pretty unnecessary. Yeah. Because here's the thing. The purpose of toner, if you don't know what toner is, because I didn't know what it was, it's essentially, it's used to cleanse your skin to, like, after you've already cleansed your skin. Like, it makes sure, I wasn't saying that to you, I was saying it to, you know what I mean. But it's used to, like, make sure that your skin is, like, clear and there's nothing on it. After you've already cleansed it and done that whole process and everything like that. So, like, the intention of using it is to make sure your skin is clear and, like, you've got everything off before you're putting, you know, active products on it.
Right.
And side note, when I say active products, I'm probably going to say this every podcast because that's a big deal to talk about. Active products and ingredients are things like retinol, things like acne medicines, and kind of just that whole category of items that actually are meant to change something about your skin.
Okay.
Like the chemistry, like the products that go deeper than the epidermis into your skin. So that's what I mean by active ingredients. Because obviously if you put an active ingredient over like dirt or, you know, whatever it's
gonna be weird.
You're gonna have a bad reaction. But here's the thing. If you are cleansing well enough, which we'll talk about how to cleanse correctly very soon. But if you're cleansing well enough and you're taking off your makeup prior to cleansing, then you're fine. You don't need... It's
another
kind of...
thing.
Yeah, like, it's not necessarily going to hurt you. You know, you can use it. But again, like I said, as someone who wants to get good skin for a good price, it's not essential to me.
Okay.
It's not something that I like to use or that I think there are, again, much better things you can invest your money on when looking for, certain products and everything and like what you want to have happen to your skin. And a bonus to that really is, a lot of toners have alcohol in them. And the reason they have alcohol in them is because alcohol is good at sterilizing and cleaning. So yes, you know, you're getting that bad stuff off your skin, but you're drying it really harshly. Yeah. Here's a fun fact. You remember these days.
Oh yeah.
My skincare routine used to revolve around witch hazel. Put that on my face, which is awful. Don't ever do that. That was what I did. I did it for like 3 years. I would use witch hazel on my face, and then I would put on my acne medicine. 2 acne medicines prescribed by my doctor. And then I would go and put on coconut oil over that, raw coconut oil, which that's a bad routine. Don't do that. But witch hazel is like one of the worst toners because it's literally just alcohol in some ways. But so, you know, in conclusion, for the most part, it's pretty non-essential. A toner would be, I would say. Yeah. But again, what works for you works for you. I'm saying that there are other things you can focus on instead of, you know, certain things like that. Okay, now we're going to get on to the thing that gets me angry. Masks. I've talked to you about this, so you know the answer.
So I know you should not use masks.
Yeah. In case you didn't hear that correctly, don't use face masks.
For the people in the back.
And again, I want to put this out there because I'm going to get so negative about these masks. But any product that like I qualify as non-essential, when you go up to like the higher quality, really good products, yes, they're good for you. You know, I'm not saying that all of these are bad for you,
but for the majority,
I'm saying that they just aren't essential. That, like, again, like I keep saying over and over again, you could be spending your money on much better things for your skin. And so, just trying to save you $1. But so masks. Let's get right on into that because I'm so mad about that. Masks are. I just wrote an entire paper for language arts about why you shouldn't use face masks.
Oh, really?
So basically, masks are very popular because it's glamorous, you know? People like the vibes. It's something you do when you're at home, you're bored. It's like something that is apparently really good for your skin, all that stuff, you know. whatever. Here's the thing. You shouldn't do it as much as people do it, and you should probably not be using what you're using.
Right.
I used to be super, like, into masks. Like, my routine, again, when I was doing witch hazel, so you know this was a dark time for me, I used to do a mask every week. That was, like, my thing. And it's just not worth it. Let's talk about why. So the number one mask I'm going to say is not worth it for you 100%. And I'm going to say this for the most part across the board is a sheet mask.
I hate those.
Those things are
worst.
literally, it's like putting garbage on your face a lot of the time. Because here's what happens. Let me explain kind of, well, and here's the thing you should know. With like a sheet mask or a mask in general, actually, you know what? Let's save that. I'll say that as my conclusion to masks.
Okay.
But the whole like thing of a mask is you put it on, you leave it on for a specific amount of time, you wash it off, and then bam, your skin is like perfect. Magic. Or something. Yeah. That's totally garbage. That's not a thing. Basically, here's the thing. If you put anything on your skin, right, and you leave it there for 5 to 20 minutes, because that's like the range I see for face masks, you know, is that like time. If you're leaving something on your skin for that amount of time, it's not going to do anything for you.
It's not long enough.
No. Because in that amount of time, your epidermis, your outer layer of skin, is meant to keep things out. That's its main goal. And so it won't just, it won't just take all that stuff in 5 to 20 minutes. It just doesn't work like that. And especially when you're putting literally just like a sheet of cotton on your face with serum on it, that's like garbage. Yeah. It does nothing for you for the most part. And the issue kind of with it too is because it doesn't absorb, the main thing that does get absorbed is active ingredients, right? And that's good. We like active ingredients for the most part. However, when you have a bunch of useless ingredients mixed with your active ingredients, it's likely you'll get a reaction of some sort. That's kind of, that happens. Yeah. And again, that's not, like 100%. This is all just, this happens for some cases, whatever. So, like, here's an example. Like with the kiwi mask, right? Like, you see fruit masks a lot and stuff. Kiwi is just a fun factor of that mask. Does kiwi do anything for you? No. It probably makes it smell good and look pretty and all that stuff. And it probably has like a fun word on the front that's like, hydrating, all of that stuff, whatever. That's why, you don't want to use a mask like that. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's a lot of the things, and here's the thing, the masks, when people do masks for self-care, and I'm not saying that this is every person or every time, but for the most part, when people do masks, they're getting cheap masks. Yeah. Because it's just for self-care, it's just fun. You're not really doing it for the, like, skin, you're doing it, it's just fun. Yeah. But here's the thing, that's what you shouldn't do. Right. And, like, if you are investing genuinely in a good mask and you're not switching it up and using 10 masks, over the course of a month, you're using the same one and you're using it at a good balance, which in my opinion, a good balance is probably once a week or once every 2 weeks, depending on it. I lost my train of thought. Okay. But yeah, if you stick to a mask and it's a good mask and you're using it at a good pace, it can work. And so that pegs the question, how do I know what's a good mask, right? So that's what I'm going to kind of talk about really quickly and just kind of go over what being and qualifying as a good mask means. When you're looking for a mask, you want to, because the whole point is like that special word it says on there, like exfoliating, hydrating. You want to look for an active ingredient in your product. You don't want it to just be filler. There's no point if it's just filler. So look for things like chemical exfoliants, which we talked about in the last episode. Go check that out. Lactic acid, glycolic acid, those are two really good chemical exfoliants. Or like antioxidants, like vitamin C, that's really good for aging and things like that. And like peptides. Peptides are really good. They're those proteins in your skin, and they're adding to it, you know. It helps kind of even out what you're looking for. You want to look for things that not only have that fun word at the beginning, but also have the ingredient that backs up that fun word.
Okay, yeah.
That's kind of the biggest key to knowing masks and knowing everything about them. And then here's the thing too, when we're talking about masks, this is probably the last thing I'll say about them, but there are many different types, right? And so I'm gonna just kind of go through those types for, here for you, and say generally what that kind of mask is good for, generally. When you're talking like a sheet mask, number one, don't use it. If you can use literally anything else, please use that.
Not good for anything.
Don't use a sheet mask, please. There are sometimes cream masks. Cream masks are often really good for dry skin, because again, that cream formula is good at moisturizing, and that's often what you need when you have dry skin. And you often see like mud masks. Mud masks can be really good for hydration and healing. So like if you have oily skin and you need hydration, there you go, that's a good one. Clay masks, those are good for fighting acne a lot of the time. And for the most part, charcoal masks, avoid them. Not good. They often clog your pores because like the chemical formula of them are of like a charcoal mask is often really big, and it clogs your pores. It's just not, it's not really something you need. So in conclusion, that was like kind of all over the place, but in conclusion regarding masks, they are not essential to your skincare when you're young, I would say. And if you want to do them, please don't do a sheet mask. Please don't. And as well as that, find a mask that isn't just glamorous. Find a mask that has the ingredients that do what it says it does and that fits your skin type. That's my advice for finding a mask, if you have to have one. So that was a lot, but that's how I feel very deeply about
masks.
Okay, cool. So that was all of them. Good job. You did really good on it.
Thank you.
Just to kind of wrap things up here, I'm going to go over the order of how you should be applying things to your skincare, about what's essential and non-essential to your skin. We're going to go over now kind of the order in which you're going to apply things to your skin. And again, this is a broad term, a broad outline kind of guide for you. Again, I'm going over this as a guideline, as like a kind of an outline. You figure out your essay, here's the outline,
Perfect, yeah.
The first thing you're going to want to do when you're applying things to your skin at night is taking off your makeup, obviously. Here's the thing about taking off makeup. With makeup, what's really common is like waterproof products. So when you're using waterproof products, and honestly in general, this is just something I recommend, you want to make sure that you're using an oil-based makeup remover. And the reason this is because oil breaks off the makeup when it's put on your skin, because if it's waterproof, it's not going to come off with water.
Obviously, yeah.
And so that's why you're going to be using oil. Go listen to the last podcast, you guys, because we talked about oil. And there's people are very scared of oils and like of using them, and like people are like, I need oil-free everything. Oil can be really good for you, and this is a really good example of that. You know, for some people, I know a lot of people's skincare involves using like olive oil, and you just put olive oil over your makeup and you just cleanse it off, and it makes it come off really nice and neatly, and it's so much less work than having to, you know, fight hard to like get it off when you're just like using a water-based product. So you want to focus on an oil-based product, or an oil itself, whatever you're more comfortable with. I know a lot of people love makeup wipes. Makeup wipes can be great if you're making sure the ingredients are good. Make sure you look up your ingredients, everything you buy, super important. But for the most part, the one kind of big flaw I would say with makeup wipes is you're pulling your skin. And that's like, we've heard this so many times. You know, you pull your skin, you're going to get wrinkles.
Yeah.
And so, you know, that is like a possibility, but also you just don't want to drag things on your skin, because that's much more likely to irritate your skin in general. Even if we're talking no wrinkles, we're talking just irritation. So if you are using makeup wipes, just be gentle is my kind of main guiding tip there. So, fun fact. The second step of like how you're applying things to your skin is cleansing. This is a huge deal, huge deal. We talked a lot about this in the exfoliant segment of last episode, so go check that out again. But you do not want to be using an exfoliating cleanser. Okay. If you're using that every day,
that's awful.
That's really bad on your skin. Really bad. You want your cleanser to be effective and simple. And we're going to talk about my favorite cleanser and what I recommend to a lot of skin types in the next episode. But for the most part, keep your cleanser simple. That's my biggest key and tip to that. When it comes to properly cleansing your skin, even though you've taken your makeup off, if you have had makeup on prior, you know, to like cleansing, you need to double cleanse. So that means cleansing for 2 minutes. Okay. Is kind of my guide. And if you didn't have makeup on before you're cleansing, 1 minute at least. And you want to just be gentle, moving little circles across your face and getting every spot you can to make sure that, because if you're not using a toner like I recommended, you want to make sure everything is off. And you can do that with a cleanser. It's very possible. You just need to be
thorough,
vigilant, and like aware of what you're doing. So that's my tip on cleansers. The third step of 4.5-ish is going to be your treatment products. So this is like active ingredients and active products. Here's the thing, kind of, I feel bad saying this, but acne, here's the thing, a lot of acne issues people have, the best way to combat them is by genuinely seeing a doctor and getting medicine prescribed to you. However, that can be really expensive for some people. And so, you know, I totally get that. And so in instances like that, there are good acne products, you know, out there that you can get with no prescription. So, you know, this would be the step in your skincare where you put that on. The reason you're going to put them on at this point is because you've just washed your skin and you've just gotten all that bad stuff off, and right now there's nothing on it helping the epidermis, so it's really going to allow your skin to take in those active ingredients and allow them to do what they need to do. So you know, that's a really big idea. That's a really big point. And generally my tip with active products and applying them is to stick to one. So if you have like 2 acne medicines or 2 whatever kind of treatment products, switch them off. You know, like do one night, next other, switch and just keep going.
Just not both.
Because mixing can cause a lot of irritation sometimes. It's best, I would say, for the most part, to only use one.
Okay.
And step 4, almost the final step, is serums and moisturizers and such like that. Creams, ointments, stuff like that. The reason you're going to want these is because a good serum and a good moisturizer and like a good cream, any of those kind of things, really doesn't do anything. Like I said earlier, what it does is it creates another barrier between the epidermis and the outer air and world, right? And so when you're putting that on over your active ingredients, you're allowing them truly to soak in, and you're helping them lock right in. It's a key step. Definitely, I'm a huge fan of doing that. You know, for me, it varies, like, at what time of the day we're talking. At least in the morning, I will cleanse and then put on a moisturizer. I don't do treatment products in the morning. For the most part, if there's, like, if I have acne, I'll put my medicine on or whatever. And then sunscreen. Here's a little key, quick tip. This is the 0.5 little part. When you are using sunscreen, don't buy a moisturizer with sunscreen in it. You want to get a totally separate sunscreen. Very important. And the reason is because when it's already put in that moisturizer, it is already diluted a little.
So it's not working as well.
Yeah. And so it's just, you should never, it's like using 2-in-1 shampoo.
A no-go.
Yeah, like it's, you know, don't do it. That's kind of the whole point with sunscreen. And so yeah, and then at night, obviously, I do makeup remover, cleanser, treatment products, serums, and moisturizers, that kind of vibe. And so again, just to kind of put it out there, that's a very basic routine. A very basic, you know, if you're using masks, you're going to want to do that once every week, once every 2 weeks. And if you are exfoliating, you're going to want to do that once every week, once every 2 weeks, maybe. It really depends a lot. And that's a very basic outline. But for the most part, I would say that in my research is what I found to be how you should be applying your products and what is essential versus non-essential. Because that's an important thing to know. So that's all my info I got for today, you guys. Well, we're almost the exact time as last episode. But so thank you guys so much for tuning in. The support means the world. We love doing this for you, and now because Mac High is closed for like ever, probably gonna be doing it a lot. But yeah, thank you so much for the support. Make sure to check out all the socials I'll have linked below. Our shop is closed right now, unfortunately. But you can check our website still. We have information posted there about what's going on and all that stuff. Thank you so much to Hailey for being here.
Of course.
Thank you guys for listening. I don't remember how I signed off last time.
It's okay.
This has been so long. But yeah, thank you so much. I hope this helped you. Please like and comment and let us know kind of what you're thinking. Let us know your experience with skincare and how you're feeling and everything like that. But yeah, thank you guys so much again. I'm genuinely so grateful. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I hope you keep your family close but still 6 feet apart during this really chaotic time. And I wish you nothing but health, happiness, and there's another thing I was gonna say. Health, happiness, and love, I guess. But yeah, thank you. I love you guys. Thank you. Bye.